Linda Barcz is here from the Barcz Company today, answering your plant and gardening questions. The number again, 270-9933. Thanks for joining us. Always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's go ahead and get right to it. Joanne from Wanakee is on the lines. Joanne, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Good, good. What's your question?
My question is about white flies on my hibiscus that were there all winter in the house, and I kept spraying them with soapy water, and they still kept coming. Now I've moved it out on my front porch, and they're still out there, and they are, I think, spreading to either my orange tree plant that I have out there and possibly my geraniums.
Unless you're really attached to the hibiscus, I would either change to a different chemical control for whitefly, because that's a hard one to get rid of. When greenhouses have whitefly problems, sometimes things get tossed. If we get plants in from a supplier, we throw them away because they have lots of eggs that are going to keep hatching. So if it's not valuable to you, get rid of it, or at least isolate it from all of your other plants. It doesn't spread to everything, but it's a nasty infestation.
And we want to make sure that we get to the Joanne. Thank you for your question. What did you bring here today, just to make sure we get to that?
Well, I did bring a series of plants that, if you like this little airy, frosty euphorbia, make sure you look at this little label, because there's one called Mountain that gets 24 to 36 inches, one that stays 12 to 18, and then there's a little short guy, 10 to 12. So they look very similar, but check the label.
Got to check that label. Got to do it. All right, let's go to our next caller. This one is John from Mount Horeb. John, can you hear us? John, can you hear us okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, what's your question?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. I've got a 3 to 4 foot little palm that we have in our entryway that gets a pretty good amount of light, and it seems to be getting new shoots periodically, but I've recently noticed the very tips of it are getting kind of dried out on the, on the palms themselves. And then when I look closer, I see these little bumps over quite a bit of the plant, and then like there's little sticky spots.
Yes, what that is scale. Wow, we are just going to do the gamut of difficult to control insects today. Scale is a little brown bump. After what that does is it has little babies that crawl around and find a really good spot to feed. Then they attach their mouth parts, build up this waxy coating, and they're very difficult to control. Again, that might be one that either you have to use a systemic and spray at the same time to control those crawlers and repeat in 2 weeks, or just toss it out if it's not real valuable and start over.
We're tossing a lot of plants today, aren't we?
Those are probably two of the most difficult insects to control. It's better that it's summer, so we can move it outside and try to do it. And if they survive through the summer and it looks good, you can bring it back in, but keep your eye on it, because when you bring it back in the house, things emerge again sometimes.
Absolutely.
Right. What do you spray it with? I'm sorry.
Well, I would suggest that you use a systemic, which is something that you would put in the soil itself. And then actually, if you're spraying to control the crawlers, something as simple as neem oil would be an option. But come into the garden center at Barcz Company, tell them what you have, and they'll give you some suggestions.
Linda, thank you for joining us. And all of you who are calling, we had 2 very difficult calls today, so stay on the line and make sure to get your questions answered. Let's